Hello everyone, welcome to 5 questions, 5 answers with Kunle Adepoju on Fox TV YouTube channel, this very edition. I hope you've been enjoying the series of answers to your questions that we'll be bringing onto you on this very channel, on this very darling program called 5 questions, 5 answers with Kunle Adepoju. This week we have another 5 questions that we'll be tackling. We have another 5 questions that we'll be dealing with, and if you want to be part of this very program and you want your questions to be answered on this very program, you can forward your questions to the WhatsApp number going on your screen, and as you forward your question, your name and your location, we would read your question. We would answer your question on this program. You can watch your question being answered on 5 question 5 answer program with Kunle Adepoju. We'll be glad to receiving your questions. As we have so many questions to work on, we will be glad that your questions are part of those questions that we will be answering on this 5 questions 5 answer series with Kunle Adepoju. Yeah, welcome. Let's go into the business.
What is the difference between resolution and
Please, can you tell us what production picture composition means?
Is it compulsory for us to have film production?
Can you tell
Design
us
department
what
production
design
for
does in
film
filmmaking?
What type of camera can you recommend?
Welcome back. This is 5 questions 5 answers with Kunle Adepoju. Our first question on today's edition of 5 questions 5 answers is from Oluwaseun Ajayi from Alakia. Oluwaseun Ajayi from Alakia. The question is, what is the role of continuity in filmmaking? I know this very person who asked this question understand continuity in filmmaking, because quite a number of people don't even talk about continuity when it comes to movie making or any production. Continuity is not only in movie making, continuity is in every other production too. In news, in radio station, in television station, they call some people continuity announcer. They announce the sequential flow of the production, announce the sequential flow of what they have to run through for the day. So the same thing is how it happens to film production. So a continuity person is the one seeing to the sequential flow of the production, sees to the sequential flow of the production. Now, continuity person in film production or in any production sees to the sequential flow of the production. There are quite a number of roles continuity plays in movie making or in film production. So continuity person sees to supervising the script in the sense that it supervises the flow of the lines, the correct pronunciation of the lines, the articulations of the lines, the flow of the scenes in the script. It sees to all those things. Continuity person also sees to the takes of the shot. Continuity also is responsible for the progression, the movement of the actors, the continuity of the movement of the actors. For example, if an actor does a particular thing in a shot and he has to repeat that particular thing in another shot, it is the duty of the continuity person to remind that actor of what he has done before, so that he will not do something else in another shot. So it's the duty of the continuity to do that. So continuity sees to that. Continuity sees to the record. Continuity also sees to the record of the production. It takes the record of the production, takes the record of shots, takes the record of the names of the people who are taking one role or the other in the production. So continuity sees to all these in production. I hope I've been able to answer your question a bit. So let's take the second question. This second question is coming from Big Sam in Apata. Big Sam also is asking this question in Apata. Now, this Big Sam is asking, what is the role of an assistant director on set? What is the role of an assistant director on set? In fact, it's like everybody is asking, What is the role of a particular person in production on this edition? So, what is the role of assistant director on set? Yes, the role of assistant director is a bit much. When you are working on a project and you have a director, at most times there is need for a PA. There is need for someone who is going to assist the person in the work he is doing. At most times, the director is always on set, directing the actors, giving them blockings, looking at their actions. But at most times, the assistant director works with the director and maintaining his script. Not only that, in a big project, you have the assistant director working on the extra cast. Assistant director work on the extra cast. For example, you have a scene where you need a lot of extras that will be coming on that set with the major actors. So it is the assistant director that will be giving the extra cast their blocking. You will move at this particular time. When these people come in, you are going to go out. It is the assistant director that does very much of that. Assistant director does much of the directing of the extras. Than any other thing on the set. So it sees to all the help that the director needs. It sees to all the help that the director needs on set. That is the duty of an assistant director on set. We'll be right back after this short break.
This was the difference between resolution and
Please, can you tell us what picture composition means in film?
Is it compulsory for us to have film production? Can you tell us what production design does in filmmaking? What type of camera can you recommend?
Welcome back. So 5 questions, 5 answers with Tony Adepoju. Yes, we have another question here. The question says, I think the question is from Samson Salau from Lagos. And the question says, I fixed a lens into my camera and discovered the Fstop number is disabled. What could be the cause? I fixed a lens into my camera and I discovered the Fstop number is disabled. What could be the cause? Yes, that's the question from Samson Salau. Fixed a lens into the camera and realized that the Fstop number is disabled. What could be the cause? Yes, there are 2 reasons that could be the cause. One is good reason and the other will be a bad reason. Now let me talk about the bad reason first. Now, if your lens is faulty, the metallic part of your lens might not be connecting with the metallic part of the camera. The normal sensor for the lens in the camera, there is a metallic part of the lens. When you hold your lens and you check your lens before you fix into your camera, you realize there are some metallic parts, just like the face of your SIM card. The face of your SIM card or the face of your ATM card. There's some metallic surface there that connects with the machine. So in the lens also has some metallic parts that connect with the camera. So if you are fixing your lens in your camera and the metallic part is not connecting, maybe that metallic part is faulty, it is very possible for your lens to be disabled. It is very possible for the connector, for the Fstop number to be disabled. That is the signal, that is the symptom that your lens is bad. So if you are using a bad lens, if you are using a lens that is not connecting anymore, so for that reason, that very Fstop number can be disabled. That's where you will see F0.0, you will see 00 in that number where the Fstop number is supposed to be. Maybe your lens is f1.2 or f1.4, but instead of you to see f1.2 or f1.4, you will see 00. So it means that lens is disabled. That is the bad reason. Yes, but for good reasons. That is when you attach a cine lens to your camera. If it is a cine lens you have attached to your camera will automatically disable the control of the Fstop on itself. and give the control of that f-stop to the lens itself. So it is from the lens that you begin to control the f-stop. So you will not see the camera enabling the f-stop in itself, but you can control the opening and the closing of the iris of your lens from the lens itself. So when you look at that lens, you will realize that if it is a prime lens, you realize that you have two rings on that lens. The first ring will be for the focus, and the second ring will be for the iris that has been disabled from the camera. So that is what happens for good reason. So you have the iris control from the camera. You have the iris control from the lens, not from the camera anymore. That is for the good reason. I hope that question is answered well as you might want it. Yes, another question also comes from Big Sam. This question is: in a project of film production, who has a superior power? Is it the director or the producer? In a project, who has a superior power? Is it the director or the producer? And there is one thing that I keep seeing, and it makes me laugh as many times, that when you are comparing two different duties, there are two different duties. I don't think there should be superiority in two different duties, just like we are working in two different departments and you are claiming superior over another person in his department. So as a director in his department, director is meant to oversee the filming. The director is the filming overseer. The director is the filming overseer. He is the one in charge of the picture. He is the one in charge of what the audience are going to see, what the audience will see eventually on the screen. So while the producer is the one in charge of the production, he is the brain behind the idea of the production. The producer is the one who hires us. The producer is the one who hires even the director to come and visualize his movie for him or for her. So there are two different offices. Quite alright, there are two different offices. So I cannot say that the producer has a superior power over the director. Of course, you can say that the producer will have the superior, because at a point when the production starts with the producer. The producer has the idea of that production. So when it came up with the idea of that production, it decides on who is the best filming expert. Who is the best filming expert that can help him to do his project, to make his project into film? Then he calls the director. So maybe from my explanation now, you can say that the producer has a superior power, but the two of them are actually doing two different duties when it comes to production. So I cannot vividly say that the producer has a superior power over the director, or the director has a superior power over, but the director has a superior power over the film. So that's why as many times we say a so person film. That's why we say like a Kunle Adepoju film, a Kayode Babalola film, a Kola Okeowo film. So that's why we say that it is the film of that person. But in terms of production, in terms of the producing of the movie, so it is a Kayode Babalola production. So it is the production of that producer. So I cannot boldly tell you that one person has a superior power over the other, because the two of them are actually in two different duties in the production. But of course, one brings the other person. So thank you for that question, Big Sam.
This was the difference between resolution and
Please, can you tell us what picture composition means?
Is it production design for us to have film production? Can you tell us what production design for does in filmmaking? What type of camera can you recommend?
Alright, so welcome back for the last question on 5 questions, 5 answers with Kunle Adepoju. This week is coming from Ifeoluwa Adeyemi from Orisa in Ibadan. The question says, what is the essence of camera mount? What is the essence of mount in film production? Is it necessary? must we use camera mounts? Let's say it's not a waste of money. Okay. Well, that question is a good question. We'll love to answer it this way. Yes. What is mount? What is camera mount? Of course, let me be frank with you. Not everybody who has studied camera operation can really do handheld shoots. Not everybody can do handheld shoots. Handheld is actually a technical way of shooting. In fact, when you see some productions that are strictly done with handheld productions, like what's the title of this movie? This movie 24. Virtually, you have quite a large number of handheld shoots in that movie, as well as Mokalik of Player. You have quite a large number of handheld shoots in that movie. So when you see a production like that, it actually takes some technical work. But for you to have steady shoots, steady shots that are steady and smooth, then you need to employ the use of camera mount. Let me give you an example of tripod. Tripod is the simplest camera mount you can ever think of when it comes to filming. Now, and let me be sincere to you, tripod is very, very essential for someone who wants to shoot effect in movie. Like you want to shoot you want to double a character on a set. You need a very static shot to do the double of one person on that set. And to do this, you cannot use your hand. Of course, your hand will shake. So you need a mount, which is called tripod, to actually make your shot static. If you want to shoot steady movement too, you need mounts like gimbal. You need mounts like Ronin. You need mounts like Steadicam. You need mounts like crane. You need mounts like track and dolly. You need mounts like slider. So all these mounts are brought into play in filmmaking because of the necessity, because of what the shot you want to take is calling for. So when you have a shot to take and you realize that using your hand might make the shot not to be steady, then you need to apply a mount. You need to apply a necessary mount. You need to apply an appropriate mount for that production. Sometimes, of course, a lot of abuse has been with mounts over time. People have abused the use of mount. For example, I remember when drone first of all came to us, when we started understanding the use of drone, and people were bringing in drone. Now everybody wants to use drone in their movie. You realize at the end of the day, they brought drone to their. At that time, drone was being hired for a very high amount of money at that time. So at the end of the day, they bring drone to the location. They shoot with drone. At the end of the day, when you are watching the movie, you cannot see the use of the drone in that movie. For that reason, this person is asking this question: that what is the essence of mount? Of course, you can ask that question in this very situation whereby you have spent so much money in getting a particular camera mount, and you are not seeing the effect of that mount in your movie. Of course, you will say it is not necessary. So, but I tell you, for those who study mount, for those who understand the operation of mount, they will know that all those mounts, they have their essence, they have their importance in any film shoot. You cannot, if you are operating a mount, you need to master the use of that mount. No mount is easy to operate. You need to master the use of such a mount. You cannot just carry a mount and say you are using it without mastering the use of that mount. That's why we have Steadicam operator, crane operator, gimbal operator. People can specialize in operating a particular mount. So that is what will make those mounts to have an effective use in any production. I hope you understand this very part of the question that we are answering. Yes, thank you for watching 5 questions, 5 answers with Kuli Adepoju this week. Next week will be another time for us to meet on 5 questions, 5 answers, where you will see all your questions being answered, and you'll be glad that you drop your questions to us, and because we were going to do justice to that, your question dropped with us. For you to be part of 5 questions, 5 answers program with Kunle Adepoju, you can submit your questions on this WhatsApp number on your screen, and you will watch your question being answered on Fog TV. Fog TV YouTube channel is the channel, and 5 questions, 5 answers is the program, and on 7 a.m. on every Monday is the time. So until then, we'll see you next week. Thanks. Bye for now.